Hello everyone. This is your junior high school math teacher, and in this video I'm going to discuss the second week lesson in your Mathematics 9. And this is the 6 trigonometric ratios of 0 and 90 degrees angles. After you watch the video, you should be able to determine the 6 trigonometric ratios of 0 and 90 degrees angles using the limiting triangle concept. You should also accurately draw diagrams illustrating changing right triangles as angles approaches 0 and 90 degrees. Now let us have a recall, particularly about what I discussed in right triangle trigonometry. Now consider again this right triangle ABC. We know that the longest side, usually denoted by small letter C, and the other two sides are denoted by small letters A and B. And side small letter A usually the shorter leg, and side small letter B is usually the longer leg. We know that in a right triangle, the longest side, small letter C, is denoted as hypotenuse, and the other two sides are leg. Now for each leg, one leg can either be an opposite leg or adjacent leg, depending on the referenced acute angle, or what acute angle is being referenced. Okay? Now, recalling the 6 trigonometric ratios of each of the two acute angles, we have the following. For acute angle A, we have sine A, which is the opposite leg over the hypotenuse, and we know that is A over C. Sine B, defined as the adjacent leg over hypotenuse, and that is B over C. Cosine tangent of A, it is equal to opposite over adjacent, and that is A over B. Now these first three trigonometric ratios are known as the basic trigonometric ratios, and the three remaining ratios are the following. The cosecant of A, which is actually the reciprocal of sine of A, which is hypotenuse over the opposite leg, and that is C over A. Secant of A is actually the reciprocal of cosine of A, defined as hypotenuse over the adjacent leg, and that is C over B. And the last one, cotangent of A, is defined as the adjacent leg over the opposite leg of the same acute angle, and that is in symbol B over A. Okay? Now, for acute angle B, we have the following 6 trigonometric ratios. Sine of B is the same opposite leg over hypotenuse, and that is B over C. Cosine of B is what? Adjacent leg over hypotenuse, and that is A over C. Tangent of B is defined as opposite leg over adjacent leg, and that is B over A. Now for the next three, those are simply the reciprocal of these first three. Now for the cosecant of B, that is actually the reciprocal of sine of B, which is hypotenuse over the opposite leg, and that is C over B. Secant of B is the reciprocal of cosine B, so that is hypotenuse over adjacent leg, C over A. And finally, the cotangent of B is the reciprocal of tangent of B, which is adjacent leg over the opposite leg, and that is A over B. Okay? Now, we go to our main topic, and let us consider again the same right triangle. Triangle ABC. Now, suppose we have this situation. What will happen if angle A here progressively decreases towards 0, and at the same time, this angle right here, angle B, progressively also increases towards 90 degrees. Now, ano mangyayari? Now, let us use the animation effect from this PowerPoint in order for us to find out what will really happen if progressively angles A and angle B decreases and increases respectively. Okay, here goes. So what you see right now, a right triangle that approaches nearly a straight line. Okay? As the opening of angle A decreases, the opening of angle B increases. Okay, again, as the opening of angle A decreases, the opening of angle B increases, meaning when angle A is decreasing, it approaches 0, and the angle B approaches 90 degrees. Now, what does this mean? For acute angle A that is approaching 0, this is what happened. The length of the opposite leg, this one, is also approaching 0. Okay, not necessarily 0 degrees. Okay, let me correct this. Okay, again, for acute angle A that is approaching 0, the length of the opposite leg is 1. Now, if this opening approaches 0, you can also see that the opposite leg or the opposite side also approaching 0. And you will notice that the adjacent leg is also approaching the length of the hypotenuse, which means there will come a time that this side will be as long as the hypotenuse. It means AB or AC becomes equal to AB. Okay? Or side small letter B will be equal to side small letter C. And if that's the case, we have the following trigonometric ratios for 0 and 90 degrees. Now, recalling what we have just learned from the definition of 6 trigonometric ratios, we know that sine of A is what? A over C. Cosine of A is B over C. Tangent of A is A over B. Then, from the 3 basic trigonometric ratios, we just simply reciprocate each of these 3 to come up with the next 3 trigonometric ratios of angle A. And these are cotangent of A, which is equal to B over A, which is the reciprocal of tangent of A. And secant of A, we know this is the reciprocal of cosine of A, so that is C over B. And cosecant of A, which is the reciprocal of sine of A, is equal to C over A. And take note, if we refer to this figure, which is now an almost a straight line from being a right triangle, A here approaches 0. So let us assume that A already reached 0. So what will happen? So sine of 0 will now be equal to what? Since angle A is 0, therefore the opposite leg will become 0 also. So that is 0 divided by the hypotenuse, which is C. And we know that 0 divided by any number will be equal to 0. So it follows that sine 0 degrees is equal to 0. And then, for the cosine of A, which is adjacent over the hypotenuse, so since cosine angle A is 0, it means these two, now this leg becomes as long as the length of the hypotenuse. Therefore, B can be replaced by C. So the ratio becomes C over C, which is equal to 1. meaning sine of 0 degrees is equal to 1. And then, tangent of A. So, tangent of 0, tangent of 0 is defined as the opposite leg over the adjacent leg. And we know that the opposite leg is already 0 over the adjacent leg, which is B, is equal to 0. And then we simply get the reciprocal of each of these three to come up with the other three trigonometric ratios or trigonometric functions of 0 degrees. Now, for the cotangent of 0 degrees, that is simply B over 0. And the result is undefined. In other reference material, any number divided by 0 is infinite. Okay? Next, secant of 0, or A, that is simply the reciprocal of cosine 0. So if we have C over C, that is also C over C. Meaning that the adjacent leg will now be as long as the hypotenuse. So secant 0 degrees is equal to 1. And for the cosecant of 0 degrees, that is the reciprocal of sine 0 degrees. So that is hypotenuse over the opposite leg, which is also becomes 0. And any number divided by 0 will give us an undefined result. Okay? Now, as you can see, we have just defined the 6 trigonometric values of 0 degrees. Okay? And please take note of these 6 values. Now, since we're done with the trigonometric values of 0 degrees, we now proceed to the trigonometric values of 90 degrees. So here we are going to consider the 6 trigonometric ratios of angle B, which is already reaches the 90 degree opening or measure. So sine B is equal to B over C. Cosine B is equal to A over C. Tangent of B, which is equal to B over A. Cotangent of B, which is equal to A over B. Secant of B, which is equal to C over A. And finally, cosecant of B is equal to C over B. Now, if angle A approaches 0, it means angle B approaches 90 degrees. So, it implies that sine 90 degrees is what? Opposite leg over the hypotenuse. And we know that opposite leg approaches the hypotenuse. So, that is C over C, which is equal to 1. For cosine of B, that is equal to 0 over C. So it means there is no adjacent leg that exists. So 0 divided by C will give us 0. Okay. And for tangent of 90 degrees, that is B over 0, which is undefined. Then cotangent of B, or cotangent of 90 degrees, that is 0 over B, or that is equal to 0. Secant of 90 degrees is equal to hypotenuse over adjacent leg, which is equal to undefined. And then finally, the cosecant of 90 degrees is equal to C over B, or that is C over C, which is equal to 1. And there you have all the 6 trigonometric ratios of angle 90 degrees.